Hi, Janelle Schaefer here with Sheep Hill Herbs. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another video. This is the type of video where I will be doing an interview, and I'm excited about this interview. It is with three individuals who are working and caretaking at Quiet Creek Herb Farm, and that is in Western Pennsylvania. And this is a farm I have visited in the past. It was started, it's a 501c3 kind of business. Well, 501c3s are not business, but it's a 501c3 nonprofit. I'm sorry. So it was started by Claire and Rusty Orner, and I went out to the farm a few years ago and toured the farm, and I actually wrote an article about the farm in My Herbs magazine, and I wish I had the exact publication date, but I probably can put that in the description. I'll go back through my magazines and find the one that it's in, but I did a really nice review because it was just such an amazing place. But I want to introduce the farm the way that they asked me to. So if you enjoy natural living, you will love what Quiet Creek has to offer. Quiet Creek Herb Farm and School of Country Living is a nonprofit dedicated to increasing the public awareness of conservation, ecological thinking, and healthful, sustainable living. You can wander through their lush gardens of organic vegetables, herbs, and edible flowers. You can explore 30 acres of nature trails, worm composting systems, wind and solar energy, yurt, an earthen oven, straw bale house, and benches. And I must say, all of those things, I saw all of them. The yurt is awesome. The straw bale house is so awesome. I mean, it's really neat. They also feature their own herbal teas and soaps and salves and grow their own mushrooms. They also carry whole foods, local art, essential oils, and literature to enhance healthy living. They provide education-based experiences to schools, churches, organizations, and friend and family groups. They offer a wide variety of classes and intensive seminars for students of all ages and all levels. So a pretty impressive resume there. It is an impressive place. I took my children, we did a whole grand tour. They had so much fun seeing all of the plants, and they got to pick some berries, and we went down into the yurt. It was really fun. Okay, so I'm so happy to have with me here today Dustin, Shita, and Sarah, who are all amazing people working and spending their time at Quiet Creek for, what would you guys call yourselves? What is your official title?
We're stewards of the farm.
Stewards of the
Stewards
farm.
of
Okay,
the land.
that's great. Okay, so they are stewards of the farm, and they have a lot of great herbal natural wisdom to share with you guys today. So I'm happy to introduce each of them, and they're going to all share their personal story as to how they got into natural living, natural remedies, or herbs. And who wants to go first?
You want to take it, Sarah?
Do you want to, since you're in the middle? And then
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
my journey started when I was in my early 20s, and it actually came from being sick, right? I had a lot of health issues. So I grew up in a family that was kind of based in the medical background. So that was obviously where I was encouraged to lean towards, but just through reading and doing research, I wanted to pursue a different way. And life's funny like that, you know, adversity kind of nudges us in different directions. And so I went on a really awesome path to discover the world of holistic living and detoxification and nutrition, and kind of had to take responsibility and throw it on my shoulder and really dive in myself. And so that's long story short, that's how I got started with this path. And 10 years later, here I am at a beautiful herb farm.
Oh, that's awesome. I had a start in the same direction because of a health crisis, and I think a lot of people do. I guess some are just born into it, but most of us, I think, have like some kind of big event. Well, Sarah, how about you share your beginning here into natural living and herbs?
Yes, thank you. So for me, I can't say there was one specific moment. It was just growing up in a world that, for me, it was more of the internal state. You know, there was nothing, you would look at me physically and think everything was fine, but we also know that there's more than just the physical.
Yeah.
And when Dustin read a quote on your website, I don't remember who it was, I want to give credit, but it said something along the lines of like, when you take humans from their natural world, natural habitat, you know, there's a huge effect on our psyche, on how we interact as human beings, and that spiritual side of us is disconnected. And with herbs and plants, I just really find that not only for myself, you, others, it's almost like a remembering process of, oh, this feels so natural.
Yeah.
This is what I'm meant to be doing, living. And just being able to grow your own food and medicine. And you said something really powerful about you want to encourage other people to not be afraid to work with these plants. You know, it used to be so innate for the women in the family, because, you know, growing the flowers and the herbs and just a feminine energy working with the earth, that was just so natural at one point. And we had to start asking why and how we got so disconnected and so far. And I think it's pretty clear when you just look at the food industry, the medical industry. It's just pretty simple in getting back to the basics. I think what is so hard is that there's just so many, what do I want to say with this? I think it's hard because we just don't even know where to begin. We're all kind of doing it alone. And that's why I love having a team. You know, I know you said you feel really tough sometimes because you don't have a team. I love being able to, you know, talk about this with you because it's building a community, you're building a network. And that's just what it's all about, being human and doing it together. And plants have an awesome way of teaching us how to do that.
You're so right. And I find it so weird, I guess, for lack of a better word, that in a time when we have such technological advancements and things are, you know, so digital and with the internet and everything, at the same time, there's this like polarity of people wanting to be like go back to natural or go back to their roots or be more simple. And for me, like I guess, I mean, I don't want to be a hermit or like I don't want to be like, I'm not going to, I mean, we're using the computer, I love to connect this way, but like I feel like I so need to balance this like push for the future with this slower natural way, and the plants definitely help me with that. Shita, what do you have? What is your story? Come in a little bit more.
Now, better?
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. The key word that Sarah has mentioned is remembering, kind of remembering our roots, you know, like what's it like to be a true human. Me growing up, I always enjoyed art, being creative, right? And cooking is something that is a way for me to express my creativity. And so it's just kind of like whenever I'm in nature, even just looking at the sky, I remember like when I was younger, I loved just looking up the sky and watching the clouds and seeing different shapes and forms and getting that inspiration of nature. So that was really something that kind of a seed in my heart that I want to explore more nature, creativity, cooking with herbs. Because me always growing up, remember my mom would cook with ginger, we drink a lot of tea. Mushroom is very common in our dishes. So it's just kind of remembering like my upbringing and continue that. And flowers is also something very beautiful, right? Nature is
Definitely.
yeah, giving that. So again, it's like not kind of like one event that inspired that connection with nature. It's kind of like growing up here and there that like, oh, feels really right. Something that is truly like, that's what it feels like human, right? Cooking with the food that we grow outside and having creativity and arts that inspired by nature, just like little things like that. So yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. So I'd love if you all could share some aspect of the farm, something that is, dear to your heart or your favorite part of working with the plants, the different types of plants, or even just like the, preparation part where you guys have the worm composting system or even the solar energy, just something, if all of you could share one part that is just really special to you, that you really just love to do this and work in this area. And I know all of it probably is, but just we could narrow it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, let's think here. For sure. And forgive me if we ramble on to other things, but that's
no
part of what makes this place super special is everything connects to everything else. And I think that's what working with the land really teaches you is like, we're part of a holistic system and we just forgot. And the more time you spend with nature, the more time you spend working with plants, we keep saying it, remember. We keep remembering more and more about who we really are. And so for me, I'm really into the mushrooms. I mean, I love gardening and producing your own food. For me, that's the one way to take full charge of your health. Just take personal responsibility and cultivate what you want to consume. But I've been taking medicinal mushrooms like shiitakes and reishi and chaga for the better part of 8 years. And that was a big part of my healing process, was learning about the immunological benefits of a food like mushroom. So on the farm, we have several hundred medicinal mushroom logs.
Oh, wow.
That we cultivate all of our mushrooms, most of them on logs, but there's several different variety or methods that we employ. And we've got the herb dryer here. So we're drying mushrooms, we're making mushroom products, tinctures.
Oh, awesome.
Meals. Yeah, so the mushrooms are a big part of it. And that's just the part that benefits our bodies, not mention how mycelium and fungus benefits the whole system. That's a whole nother interview. But it's a really beautiful field of study and we're really into it.
Yeah, I definitely could go hear a whole video on mushrooms because I'm just scratching the surface, just learning myself. So I'm very interested in learning more.
Well, it's so cool because it's something that even like the experts, right? It's something that's still very not well understood.
Oh, really?
Why mushrooms are here and what role do they really play? And as the years go by, the discoveries just kind of keep being more profound. An example would be what the research is showing how beneficial mycelium is to bees' immune system. And like we have a big bee problem, right? Bees are dying left, right, and center. And the fact that fungus, mycelium actually boosts their immune system. Again, that's just an example of how intertwined all of these little components are. So.
Oh, wow. So that is a great intro to mushrooms. And maybe you guys can give me like a link of, do you have books on mushrooms at the farm, or just more research I could put in the description for someone if they want to know more? At the end, I can get that from you.
Absolutely. If you want to, we have a resource page on our website, quietcreekherbfarm.org.
Okay.
And there's a lot of really great information. We have a little library that people can come to the farm and buy these books, or just check out the website.
Okay, I mean, that's good.
There's a saying at Quiet Creek that there are no secrets here. And the goal is, we don't benefit by hoarding this knowledge, right? We really maximize our benefit when it's shared. So that's part of the mission.
Oh, awesome. Sarah, what would you like to share about?
Well, I am happy to share on the vermicomposting, which for those who may not be familiar with that term is worm composting. And I don't want to overcomplicate it. The way that we got this method is just looking towards nature. A lot of farmers who are dealing with soil issues, their plants not producing, getting, diseases. Look at your soil. If we don't have healthy soil, we don't have healthy plants. So vermicomposting, these red wigglers, which are bacterial worms, which usually grow around a lot of farms because there's manure. So in our compost, you have manure, leaves, wood chips, all these things we would naturally find in the forest floor. And so a lot of these concepts, we're just discovering these things on a very scientific, analytical way of thinking. But again, coming back to that remembering, there are beings who still have existed and do exist that knew this, maybe just understood it in a different way that wasn't so in the mind, and I'm talking about Native Americans, the people who originally were who were the stewards of this land and were learning so much, having to realize, our agricultural methods are destructive. They're not sustainable.
Yeah.
So composting and soil is one of the most beneficial ways to produce for not only your own family and the community. And that's really where it comes back to. It ties into everything, the mushrooms, the fungus, and the soil, to the food, to the humans, to the community. All these little things connect to one big whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And messy and all of it.
Well, you did a beautiful job describing composting. It is one of the chores my kids have on their chore wheel. They have a compost day. They have to go out to take care of the compost.
Really grounding, literally.
Yeah. Okay,
I love that.
Great. Anything else, or we'll go to Shita and she can share?
Yeah, can I add something to the compost?
Sure.
I think that's one of, so like, there's the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. And it's like, for people that are interested in pursuing a lifestyle like this, please understand, this farm's been around for 25 years. I mean, this is something that was just one thing added after another thing.
Oh, wow.
And so it's all about just taking what you're learning and integrating it. And vermicompost is a really cool, important thing to integrate, because it allows you to get rid of all your kitchen waste, all your paper waste.
Definitely.
It's just such an easy, effective way to not just reduce your waste, but create really good food for your plants. Again, so like multi-benefit, multi-function is we try and find the uses for whatever we do here. And that seems to be a pretty good approach.
Oh, I agree. I like feel so guilty if I throw like something like from the kitchen away sometimes. I'm like, oh, it should go in the compost, because I don't know, the compost bowl isn't there, and I just like quickly throw something away. I'm like, oh, I should not throw this away.
But that's it though. It's that moment to moment, being super mindful and super aware, right? And just conscious about your decisions. And that's awesome. That's the cool process to go through.
Okay, go ahead, Shita.
One of my favorite aspects of the farm is definitely flowers. So the
There,
flowers,
right there.
yeah, the flowers. So there's a lots of function having flowers in the garden, right? Like think about companion planting. One example I can think of is having experience with a natural detergent from like deer eating your fruits and vegetables. We plant marigolds or certain flowers that has very fragrant, so deters bunnies and all these animals that you don't want to eat your fruits and vegetables. And not only we like to enjoy some cut flowers from the garden, but like it helps with bees and butterflies, which is really good for like all the other plants that we plant in the garden. And a lot of flowers actually are herbs, right? Calendula is an herb. They're beautiful that you can dry to make herbal teas with, make salves with. And roses is another great herbs that it's like we get to enjoy them, but there's a lot of medicinal benefit from flowers. So that's I think that I really enjoy them.
That's beautiful too, because I don't think people really ever think of the connection of flowers. I know I don't always, to like the whole ecosystem of or working of your garden, and also like the deterrence to pests and other animals. Because I think if you're so separated from like growing your food, to like flowers are just more like pretty or ornamental, but they have such like a deeper purpose, which I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a healing by having fresh flowers in the kitchen, right? It makes you happy just by having them around, it's such a great energy to bring to the house and makes everyone happy.
Oh, you're so right. Well, I really appreciated everything you shared. All of you shared today. It was wonderful. I know that this will be well received. And why don't you share one more time, just your website? Just say it a little bit slowly, just so that everyone can make sure that they got it.
Yeah, sure. It's quietcreekherbfarm.org.
Okay.
And we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Increasingly more active. We're not tech people, but we do value in sharing that. So we're working on that. But it is the best place to get in touch with us. Or if you ever want to come visit the farm, if you're ever out in Western Pennsylvania, please come by.
Okay, awesome.
Let's not make this the last interview. Let's dive deeper. Yes.
I agree. We can do a series. So thank you guys so much, and I'm going to pause the video, and definitely I'll have to have you on again.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.